So here we go, the beast. A ton too big. Return area on this thing's only a 16-inch, way under duct, which is pretty much what we run into on a daily basis. Even the units that are going in today, no load calcs are being done. Ductwork is always undersized. That's why we do we get a number and we make sure everything's right. So we're gonna tear all this out, tear out the curb, redo the electrical, probably have to redo a little bit of this roof. It's actually broke right here on the inside. We gotta reinforce it, and we're gonna end up upsizing the return on this system. So I'll do some recording once we get some more done. Oh, we're getting there. Unit's gone, cannibalized. So I could fit in my van, and we don't want to pay for the crane to come. We want to get this curb in, the new one, and get it all good and ready to go before the crane gets here, so we're not rushing. Having a good time with this roof. The old roofers, they roofed over the old roof. So we gotta take these things apart, get down underneath here, go all the way up, one at a time. You can see the old roof right there. That's about as far as I've got. Fun stuff. But we'll get this out today. Gonna make a repair right here. It's broken underneath. Looking at my return and supply plenums. So we know this is too small, so we're making that one bigger. And the customer doesn't want to change the supply runs. So these are all home runs, meaning that they go from the room straight to the supply, which I really don't like to do them this way. I haven't pulled it out on the ductulator, but I'm sure that I don't have enough supply air for this unit. They should be bigger supplies branched off. But for this job, we're gonna have to make do with what we got. All right, we got this curb off. We're running our return right now. So for this unit, 2.5 ton, we're doing an 18-inch return. And I actually tried to get a 20, but the supply house didn't have it. So after talking to another contractor that's very fluent in airflow, I made a decision to go ahead and start running 20s on everything above 2 tons and two returns on anything above 3 tons. So the next time you see us, we'll be using a 20-inch. And we also decided to go ahead and start, I don't know if you can see that, but there is mastic, ran all the way up this start collar on the sides, so that whenever we put this return on there, it's going to seal. So we'll run mastic, return, and then from there zip tie, and then the outside piece is just zip tied. All right, that's it. All right, up in the attic. So our plenums are in, and I'm going to tie in our return air right there. Over here, all my supplies to here. I'm gonna hit it all with mastic or duct seal, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna redo all these connections that they got. These funky, this duct tape is horrible. It gets hot and it becomes brittle. You can see it just rips right off. There's nothing sticky about that anymore. I hate it when people use duct tape to secure ducts. I really wish that the homeowner would have let me change out these ducts. This is that very thin insulation R4 ducts. I had to size this equipment a little bigger than I needed to because of my conduction loss in the attic. You can see I got super long runs over there with this ductwork going all the way over there. It's poor ductwork. When it gets 140 degrees up here, I'm gonna have a lot of loss. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff going, and then I'll record when I'm done. I wish that light up there worked. I should start bringing lights on my van. Seems like everywhere I go the light don't work. All right, here we go. This is our first connection, and it's gonna be a tight one because it's an 18-inch, and I got joists. I got stuff in the way all over, but it's all masticed up, even on my start collar, all the way around. Nice and pretty. After that, we'll double insulate it. It'll be good to go. And now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna run this return. It's gotta go all the way around, over here, come back around, and over to there. All right, finishing up in this attic. Got all my ducts hooked up, and my insulation looks terrible, but so this is what's going on with the insulation. Up until now, I've been using this yellow roll stuff, which is pretty common in my area, but I decided that from now on I'm going to start doing a different kind of insulation. It has a silver backing. The name, I can't remember the name of it. So what I did on this stuff here is I insulated it twice. So there's 2 layers there. So it's insulated very well. You can see my other ducts all strapped up over there. My return. It's kind of tight in here, and it's getting really dang hot. So I'm about to get out of here. Finally down out of that attic. And so this is my contraption to get up into the attic. At least this one's big. Some of them are really, really small. I didn't realize how hot it was in there. I don't know if you can see my shirt, but it's soaking wet. Up on the roof. Initially I wanted to put a carrier in here, but I couldn't get one here in time, so I put in a Bryant, and looks like the curb is small like I thought it was. I'm gonna have to re-roof and run my drain line down here. Still gotta LP this guy, hook up my gas again, run my gas line, drip leg, and my electrical and my thermostat. And we'll be tidying up on this job, so I'll bring you guys back on after I get everything done. Here we go, all finished. It's been a long day. It's hot up here.
Alright YouTube, so we finish up this job, and let's talk a little bit about, so we went in with a 2.5 ton and we removed a 3.5 ton. So how do we come up with that? So on our jobs, what we do is a load calculation, and our load calculation will have, it'll tell us all our materials, what our floor is, what kind of glass we're using, whether it's treated, screened, whether it opens or closes, double pane, skylight, our knee wall, what size the return is, what our floor material is, when it was built. So we take all this information, and then we go and we draw up of this house. This is my little miniature drawing of the house, and DP is double pane, the size of the window, it's fully treated, and it has screens on one side, and I basically spec out the house. And then I come back, and so I use Elite software for my manual J's, my load calculations. And the load calculation will then give me all the numbers that I need here, which is telling me my heating BTUs that I need, my cooling BTUs that I need, the difference in between my sensible and latent, my dry bulbs, my wet bulbs, and then we load in the design temperatures and area, which is for this area it calls for 1749 square feet. The design temperatures was 20 degrees and 100 degrees, so it basically breaks everything down for me so I know what size to go back in at. And then once we know what size we got, then we size it with manual S. And this is another little breakdown. This tells me my CFM per, you can still see the stuff on my finger from yesterday's job, but this breaks down all of our CFM for each room. So as you can see here, it tells us which room. Living room needs 596 CFM, so it breaks it down in case I want to balance the house, or rather the customer wants to balance the house. And this here, this is manual S, and I'll probably do a whole video on this eventually, but basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to size this equipment so that it is within 15% of the manual J of the load calculation and 40% on the heating. So I'm very close. And this one here, it's a spreadsheet. It just breaks everything down, and as I load all this information in, it makes my adjustments over here for me. But then we put in our actual capacities rather than what you know. So this was a 2.5 ton, 30,000 is what the capacity rating basically says, but the real OEM capacity, what it can really do, is only 25,430. So this is, I'll go over all this stuff here at a later date, but it's a cool little breakdown. I just wanted to share that with you guys, how we came up with this unit that we put in there. Alright, thanks YouTube, bye.